The day had finally arrived. After decades of planning, research, and preparation, humanity was ready to take its first real step beyond the known reaches of the galaxy. The ship, named the Dauntless, gleamed under the sunlight in the massive launch bay. Its sleek design, a combination of human engineering and advanced artificial intelligence, promised both speed and safety. For everyone involved, it represented the pinnacle of human achievement. Inside the ship, the crew moved with a mixture of excitement and nervous energy. Commander Elias Harper, a veteran pilot with calm eyes and steady hands, walked down the narrow corridor, checking the instruments with precise movements. His experience in countless simulations and orbital missions had prepared him for this, yet even he felt a strange thrill when he gazed at the stars through the viewport. Behind him, Dr. Lila Moreno, the mission's chief scientist, adjusted her data tablet, reviewing the readings from the planetary scans they had received. She had spent years studying the distant exoplanet, a world beyond the edges of human exploration, rumored to harbor signs of life. The prospect of discovering something entirely new filled her with awe. "I still can't believe we are actually going there," she said softly, almost to herself. "You'll believe it once we're past the atmosphere," Elias replied with a faint smile. "Then it will be real." In the back of the ship, engineer Raj Patel ran through the systems checks. Every switch, every wire, every circuit had to function perfectly. Failure was not an option. Raj had spent months with his team ensuring the ship could withstand the stresses of deep space and the unknown conditions of an alien world. He glanced at the AI interface, a calm digital voice filling the cabin with updates. "All systems nominal," the AI announced. Its voice was neutral but precise. "Launch sequence ready. Estimated travel time to exoplanet, 64 standard days." The crew nodded. 64 days was a long journey, but it was nothing compared to the distance they would cover. Their mission was to explore, to gather data, to represent humanity in a place no human had ever set foot. And for the first time in human history, they would do it with a ship capable of reaching a planet so far away. Dr. Sofia Alvarez, the communications expert, adjusted her headset. Her job was crucial. She would maintain contact with Earth, ensuring that even across vast distances, humanity could follow their journey. She glanced at the viewport and whispered, "This is incredible. We are really leaving home." The medic, Jacob Winters, checked the supplies one last time. He had the responsibility of keeping everyone healthy, physically and mentally. He moved among the crew, offering reassurance with a simple smile. "We've trained for this. We'll be fine," he said, though his own heart beat fast in his chest. The countdown began. From the control center on Earth, the voice of the flight director echoed through the ship's speakers. T-10, 9, 8. Each number seemed to carry the weight of centuries of human hope. Outside, spectators cheered, celebrating the moment humanity had been waiting for. As the engines roared to life, a vibration ran through the ship. The crew gripped the supports, their bodies pressed back into their seats by the force. The earth below shrank rapidly, continents blending together, oceans glinting like tiny mirrors. The feeling was both terrifying and exhilarating. Within minutes, they were above the atmosphere, floating in the silence of space. Stars stretched endlessly in all directions, a vast canvas of possibilities. The crew stared in awe, some silently, others with barely contained excitement. "It's beautiful," Sophia whispered. The others nodded. Words seemed unnecessary. The universe itself spoke more powerfully than any language. Days passed, and the routine of space travel settled in. Each crew member found their rhythm. Elias piloted the ship with precision, occasionally checking their course through the black expanse. Lila analyzed data from the ship's instruments, noting unusual readings from the planet ahead. Raj maintained the systems, ensuring the engines and life support continued to function perfectly. Sophia sent updates to Earth, her messages concise but filled with wonder. Jacob monitored everyone's health, offering support when stress or fatigue showed. Despite the calm routine, there was an underlying tension. Space was vast and uncharted, and the exoplanet, though detected from afar, remained mysterious. Strange energy readings appeared intermittently on the ship's sensors, flickers that defied explanation. They were small at first, a blip here, a flicker there, but each caused a momentary pause, a quick glance at the instruments, and a shared unspoken thought: the unknown waits. One evening, as the ship passed a cluster of distant asteroids, the crew gathered in the observation deck. The planet was visible now, a blue and green sphere in the darkness, more vivid than the photographs Earth had ever captured. Its atmosphere shimmered faintly, and clouds drifted across its surface, hiding secrets that only the brave or foolish could discover. "It's real," Lila said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We are really going there," Elias nodded. "And we'll make sure we return to tell everyone about it." For the first time since launch, they allowed themselves a moment of lightheartedness. Raj joked about the possibility of alien creatures greeting them with tea and pastries. Jacob laughed, and even Sophia allowed herself a smile. But beneath the humor lay the shared awareness. They were entering a realm no human had ever walked. Danger, discovery, and wonder awaited them in equal measure. As they approached the planet, the ship's sensors grew more active. Unfamiliar readings appeared across multiple channels: fluctuating magnetic fields, unusual radiation signatures, and faint traces of unknown organic compounds. Lila's excitement was tempered by caution. "Whatever is down there," she said, "it's not like anything we've studied. We have to be careful." Elias reviewed the landing protocols. The planet's surface, from the data, looked stable, but unknown variables always existed. "We've trained for every scenario we can think of," he said. "We stick to the plan, we watch each other, and we get this data safely." The day of landing arrived. The ship descended slowly, entering the planet's atmosphere. Winds buffeted the hull, and turbulence shook the cabin. But the ship held steady. The crew worked in perfect synchronization, each aware of their role, each trusting the other implicitly. Finally, the engines fired to slow their descent further, and the landing gear touched the ground. A cloud of dust rose around the ship, glinting in the planet's sunlight. Silence followed for a moment. The crew exhaled, their relief visible in small gestures: a hand on the shoulder, a nod, a shared smile. Elias opened the hatch. The air outside was breathable, filtered by the ship's systems and verified by the sensors. The planet smelled faintly metallic, mixed with the sharp freshness of an alien world. Trees with glowing leaves and plants that swayed without wind surrounded them. Strange, delicate creatures darted between the flora, observing the newcomers with cautious curiosity. "Stay close," Elias instructed. "We take samples, record everything, and maintain contact with the ship. No unnecessary risks." The crew moved carefully, documenting and analyzing everything they saw. Lila collected soil and air samples, her mind racing with possibilities. Raj adjusted equipment to measure atmospheric stability and structural anomalies. Sophia recorded visual data and sent encrypted updates to Earth. Jacob monitored their health, ensuring that the new environment did not trigger any unforeseen issues. As the day wore on, the crew discovered more wonders: a river that reflected not only light, but seemed to shimmer with unseen colors, crystals embedded in the ground that emitted soft hums, and plants that responded to their presence with subtle movements. Each discovery reinforced a simple truth: humans were capable of reaching beyond limits, of exploring the unknown, and of appreciating beauty that was not their own. At night, the sky of the alien planet revealed a tapestry of stars unlike any seen from Earth. Two moons hung low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the glowing landscape. Around the camp, soft bioluminescent lights blinked on and off, as if the planet itself were alive and aware. The crew gathered inside the ship after their first day on the surface. Exhausted but exhilarated, they shared their observations, theories, and tentative conclusions. Conversations were filled with wonder, speculation, and careful planning for the next day's exploration. Even as they rested, the subtle energy fluctuations continued. Sensors picked up faint pulses emanating from deeper within the planet, a rhythm that seemed almost deliberate. Lila studied the readings, curiosity warring with caution. "It's like the planet is aware," she said quietly, "or something beneath the surface is." Elias nodded, a serious expression settling over his features. "Then tomorrow, we proceed carefully. We are explorers, not intruders. We observe, we learn, and we respect what we find." That night, the crew slept with the knowledge that humanity had reached a new frontier. They were pioneers, representing every human being who had looked up at the stars and wondered what lay beyond. Their courage, intelligence, and determination had carried them here. And as they drifted into sleep, the planet outside held its secrets, waiting for them to uncover more in the days to come. The journey had only just begun, and already humanity was proving that even in the vastness of space, its spirit could shine brighter than any star. The next morning, the crew awoke to the soft glow of the alien sun spilling across the horizon. The bioluminescent plants from the previous night now shimmered faintly even in daylight, their colors shifting like liquid light. The air smelled sharp, metallic, yet somehow refreshing. Every breath reminded them that they were truly on another world, a place that no human had ever stepped foot upon. Commander Elias Harper was the first to rise. He moved with practiced calm, checking the ship's systems and monitoring the external sensors. The quiet hum of the ship's engine blended with the strange sounds of the planet, the subtle rustle of glowing leaves, distant chimes of unknown creatures, and the low vibrations that seemed to come from beneath the soil. Something about it felt alive, as if the entire world was breathing. "Morning, everyone," Elias said as he walked into the common area. "We have a full day ahead. We follow the plan, we stay in contact, and we stay alert." Dr. Lila Moreno stretched and tapped her tablet, reviewing the readings from the previous day. "The energy signals we detected are stronger this morning," she said. "They seem to come from deep within the planet, near that strange formation we saw in the distance. It looks like a structure, or maybe some kind of machine. I think we need to investigate it carefully." Raj Patel, the engineer, frowned slightly as he adjusted a control panel. "Whatever it is, it's definitely not natural. The readings are unlike anything we've seen before. And the ship's instruments are having trouble maintaining stable readings when we get close to it." Jacob Winters, the medic, placed a reassuring hand on Lila's shoulder. "We'll be fine," he said. "We're trained for this, and we watch out for each other. Just follow the plan, and nothing unexpected will hurt us." Sofia Alvarez, the communications expert, monitored the uplink to Earth. "Everything is clear so far," she said. "We can still send updates, though the signal is a little weaker near the structure. We'll need to be careful if we get closer." The crew suited up and prepared for their first full exploration outside the ship. They moved as a unit, each member performing their role with practiced precision. Elias led the group, with Lila and Raj close behind, and Jacob and Sophia keeping the rear. Their footsteps disturbed small glowing plants that retracted as if sensing the human presence. As they approached the distant structure, its size became clear. It was enormous, taller than any building on Earth, with smooth, reflective surfaces that shimmered in colors humans had no names for. Strange markings covered its walls, symbols that seemed to shift when looked at from different angles. The structure emitted a faint vibration, barely noticeable, but enough to make the hairs on the crew's arms stand on end. "This is incredible," Lila whispered, recording data as fast as her tablet would allow. "It's definitely artificial and clearly not human. Whoever built this had technology far beyond anything we've imagined." Elias nodded but remained cautious. "We need to approach carefully. No sudden movements, no unnecessary risks. We observe, we record, and we stay together." As they moved closer, the vibrations grew stronger. The ground beneath their feet seemed almost alive, pulsing gently in rhythm with the energy coming from the structure. Raj knelt and scanned the surface with his portable instruments. "The energy signature is definitely artificial," he said. "It's difficult to explain, but it feels intentional, like it's waiting for something or someone." Jacob examined the flora nearby, checking for any signs of toxicity or danger. The plants appeared harmless, but subtle changes in their movements made him uneasy. "We need to stay alert," he said. "Something about this place is different. It's intelligent in a way." Sophia, ever the communicator, tried to maintain a line to the ship. "Command, we're approaching the structure. Readings are unusual. Recommend caution." There was a brief pause, then the AI responded in its calm, precise voice. "Acknowledged. All data is being recorded. Continue with caution." The closer they got, the more the structure seemed to interact with them. Light shimmered across its surface, casting intricate patterns that moved in harmony with the crew's movements. Shadows lengthened and shifted unnaturally. Lila's heart raced with both fear and excitement. She had read about alien technology in theory, but nothing compared to this. The feeling of standing in front of something that was alive in its own way, yet entirely incomprehensible. "Stay close," Elias instructed again. "We don't know what this thing can do, or if it's even aware of us. Move slowly." They reached the base of the structure. The entrance, if it could be called that, was a smooth, dark opening that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The faint vibration they had felt from the walls grew stronger here, as though the structure itself was breathing. Raj stepped forward, scanning the threshold with his instruments. "No obvious hazards," he said. "But the energy readings spike when we get too close. It's reactive. Almost like it knows we're here." Lila's curiosity overcame her caution. She extended a gloved hand toward the surface, letting her fingers brush against the cool, smooth material. A sudden pulse of light shot through the structure, washing over the crew in a wave of soft, almost musical tones. Each of them felt a strange sensation, as if memories and emotions were briefly shared among them. What was that?" Jacob whispered, his voice tense. "I think it's trying to communicate," Lila said, eyes wide. "Not with words, but with something deeper. Patterns of energy, maybe even feelings." Elias's instincts screamed caution. "We record, we observe, but we do not enter." "Not yet. Let's step back and review." But before they could move, a sudden low hum resonated through the structure. The ground beneath them trembled lightly. Shadows flickered across the walls, twisting in ways that defied logic. One of the glowing plants nearby extended a tendril toward Raj, who instinctively pulled back, but the tendril stopped just short of touching him. "This place, it's testing us," Raj said, eyes wide. "It's aware." Lila nodded. "It wants something. Maybe it's curious. Maybe it's a test." Elias weighed the options. They could retreat and wait for further instructions from Earth, or they could push forward. The curiosity that drove all humans, the desire to discover, to learn, to overcome the unknown, was hard to resist. "Careful," he said finally. We take one step inside, just enough to gather data. No one goes beyond the first chamber until we understand more. The team entered together, moving slowly into the darkness. The inside of the structure was vast, far larger than the exterior suggested. Light shimmered along the walls, forming shifting patterns that seemed almost alive. The floor was smooth and solid, but faint vibrations ran through it, like the heartbeat of the building itself. As they explored, subtle phenomena continued. Instruments flickered, lights shifted in color and intensity, and the crew occasionally glimpsed shapes at the edges of their vision, shapes that vanished when looked at directly. Lila collected samples from the walls, recording every detail. Raj examined the structure's energy flow, amazed at the precision and complexity of the design. Jacob monitored the crew's vitals, noting increased heart rates and heightened alertness. "Everyone stay calm," he said. "We're fine. But this place is affecting us. It's more than just physical, it's psychological too." Sophia attempted to communicate back to the ship, sending images and readings. "Command, this is extraordinary. The structure seems responsive. I'm sending live data. You may want to review carefully." The deeper they went, the more the structure seemed to shift around them. Corridors lengthened and twisted, sometimes looping back in impossible ways. Walls subtly moved when unobserved. Yet despite the strange alterations, the team never felt in immediate danger. There was intelligence here, but it was not hostile, at least not yet. Suddenly, a chamber opened ahead. It was circular, enormous, with a faint, glowing pedestal in the center. Energy pulsed gently from it, illuminating the room in soft, ever-changing colors. The air here felt warmer, heavier, almost as if it contained concentrated life. Lila stepped forward, drawn by curiosity. This could be the control center, or a data repository, something important." Raj approached cautiously, scanning for hazards. "The energy here is off the charts. Whatever this is, it's not just a structure, it's a system, a functioning, intelligent system." Elias motioned for the team to stay close. "We take this slowly, one person, one measurement at a time." As Lila reached toward the pedestal, a surge of light expanded outward, filling the chamber. The crew felt themselves lifted, not physically, but mentally. Images, sounds, and emotions flashed through their minds. Alien landscapes, strange creatures, concepts beyond human comprehension. Fear, wonder, and curiosity mixed in an overwhelming wave. They stumbled back, hearts racing, breathing heavily. The pedestal's glow receded, and the room returned to its soft, rhythmic pulse. The team exchanged glances, unspoken words passing between them. They had touched something extraordinary, something beyond anything humans had imagined. Elias finally spoke. "We record this. We document it. But we need rest. Tomorrow we return with more analysis. This structure, it's alive in its own way, and it knows we are here." As they exited the chamber and returned to the ship, the alien world outside seemed quieter, almost as if it were holding its breath. The glowing plants swayed gently, and the hum of the planet's surface seemed to settle back into rhythm. Back on the ship, the crew sat in silence, reviewing the day's data. Lila's tablet was filled with new readings and images that defied explanation. Raj was already devising ways to better understand the energy flow, while Jacob quietly ensured everyone's physical and mental state remained stable. Even Sophia, usually full of chatter, sat quietly, reviewing the communications logs. "Earth will want to see this," she said finally. "They'll want answers, but we don't have them yet. Not fully." Elias looked out the viewport, watching the alien sun dip below the horizon. "We've only just begun. This world has secrets, and we are the first humans to uncover them. But we must proceed carefully. Curiosity is our greatest strength, but also our greatest risk." As night fell, the bioluminescent landscape lit the ship in gentle colors, a reminder that even in the unknown, beauty and wonder awaited. The crew slept fitfully, dreams filled with shifting lights, strange symbols, and the pulse of the living structure they had discovered. Human courage and ingenuity had brought them here, but the days ahead would test them in ways no training could prepare them for. The planet held mysteries that could challenge their understanding of life, of intelligence, and of humanity itself. And somewhere deep within the glowing forests and shifting shadows, the structure waited, aware of every human step. The first full day of exploration was over. But the true adventure, the one that would test every ounce of human spirit, was only beginning. The morning air on the alien planet was thick with anticipation. The crew of the Dauntless had spent a night filled with dreams that were more vivid than reality. Lila Moreno woke first, her mind racing with images of shifting symbols, colors, and patterns from the chamber they had discovered. Every detail seemed important, every sensation a clue. Elias Harper checked the ship's instruments first. Everything was stable, yet the structure's energy readings had subtly increased overnight. The pulsing vibrations they had felt the day before were stronger, more deliberate. The planet seemed alive, and it was aware of their presence. "We need to proceed with caution," Elias said during the morning briefing. "Yesterday's encounter was extraordinary, but we don't fully understand what we're dealing with. This structure is unlike anything humans have seen. It's intelligent, and it's testing us in ways we don't yet comprehend." Raj Patel adjusted his tools and nodded. "I've been analyzing the energy readings overnight. The system responds to our movements and to our thoughts, almost as if it can sense our intentions. We'll need to be careful. Even a small mistake could have serious consequences." Jacob Winters checked everyone's health, noticing the subtle signs of mental strain. "We all felt it last night," he said. "The structure affected us. Sleep helped, but we must remain focused. Don't let curiosity override caution." Sofia Alvarez monitored the communication uplink. "Earth is waiting for updates, but I'm not sure what I can transmit. The structure interferes with signals." "I'll try, but we might lose contact if we get closer." Lila nodded, determination shining in her eyes. "We came here to explore. We can't turn back now. But we proceed carefully, step by step." The crew suited up and approached the structure once more. The glowing plants and subtle hum of the planet seemed to follow them, almost as if the world itself were observing. The entrance loomed ahead, dark and inviting, pulsing faintly with the same energy they had felt yesterday. As they entered, the twisting corridors seemed more complex than before. The walls shifted subtly, making their sense of direction uncertain. Yet the team moved as one, trusting their training, their instincts, and each other. Suddenly, Lila paused. "Do you feel that?" she whispered. The air seemed thicker here, as though it were charged with unseen energy. Raj adjusted his scanner. "It's stronger than yesterday. The structure knows we're here." Elias signaled for the group to stop. "Stay alert. Watch for changes. Nothing happens by accident in this place." As they moved deeper, the walls themselves seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting imperceptibly. Shadows twisted in ways that defied logic, sometimes appearing in places the crew had just passed. Each step felt like entering a new world within the same structure. They reached the chamber with the glowing pedestal again. This time, the light was brighter, more intense, and the rhythmic pulse stronger. The symbols along the walls shifted continuously, forming patterns that seemed to reach out to the crew's minds. Lila stepped closer, drawn by the familiar curiosity that had driven her throughout her life. "I think it wants us to interact," she said. "Yesterday it shared images and sensations with us. Now it might expect something more." Raj examined the pedestal. "The energy is incredible, but it's also dangerous. I can feel it reacting to our presence. I recommend extreme caution." Elias nodded. "We take no unnecessary risks. We record, we observe, and we stay together, one step at a time." Lila placed her hand lightly on the pedestal. Immediately, a surge of light and energy coursed through the chamber. This time, the experience was more intense. The crew felt visions flash through their minds. Alien landscapes, civilizations, creatures, and events that spanned centuries. The colors, sounds, and emotions were overwhelming. Fear, awe, and wonder intertwined in a way that made every heartbeat feel magnified. Jacob reached for her, steadying her against the sudden pull of energy. "Careful! It's stronger than before." Suddenly, the energy intensified further, and the chamber seemed to shift entirely. The floor became fluid, the walls stretched infinitely, and the light bent around them. It was as if reality itself had been rewritten within these walls. Raj shouted, "We need to retreat, now!" But before they could move, the energy pulse expanded outward. Leela, Elias, Raj, Jacob, and Sophia were enveloped in blinding light. Their senses were overwhelmed. They could feel themselves being pulled, stretched, and compressed simultaneously. Time seemed meaningless here. Minutes felt like hours, seconds like centuries. Then silence. When the light faded, Elias realized something was wrong. He looked around the chamber, expecting to see his team, but the room was empty. Only he remained. Panic surged, but he forced himself to stay calm. "Where are they?" he whispered, voice shaking. He tried to call out, but no words came. His throat felt dry, as if the energy had stripped him of speech itself. Panic threatened to overwhelm him, but he focused on the one thing he could do: survive. The chamber pulsed again, gently this time. It seemed to guide him, leading him toward the exit. Each step was cautious, uncertain. The corridors twisted as before, but the structure now felt different, less hostile, almost aware of his intentions. Finally, he emerged into the planet's surface. The glowing plants and the gentle hum greeted him, unchanged as if nothing had happened. He stumbled toward the ship, collapsing briefly before regaining his composure. Inside the ship, he struggled to communicate. Sophia and Jacob, sensing something was wrong, rushed to him. Their eyes widened at his silent, terrified expression. He tried to speak, but no sound came. Panic rose in the crew, but Elias managed to convey urgency through gestures and frantic hand signals. Layla, Raj, and the rest were gone. The chamber, the structure, and the planet had taken them. He realized he was the only one left, the sole witness to whatever had happened inside that alien place. Sophia tried to call Earth. "Commander Harper, we need to report this." He shook his head violently, unable to speak. His eyes conveyed the horror, the loss, the incomprehensible experience. He could only motion for her to send the recorded data from their exploration, the images and readings that proved they had encountered something beyond human understanding. Jacob placed a steadying hand on his shoulder. "We'll get you home. We'll figure out what happened." Elias nodded, grateful for the support, but he felt the weight of being alone. The courage that had carried him through countless challenges now felt both like a lifeline and a burden. He had survived, but at a cost no training had prepared him for. The journey back to the ship's control center was tense. Elias focused on piloting, maintaining the ship's systems, and monitoring the planet for any further anomalies. The energy readings from the structure continued, subtle but persistent, almost as if it were aware of his departure. As he prepared for takeoff, Elias reviewed the data collected before the incident. Every sample, every reading, every image from the structure told a story of intelligence far beyond human comprehension. The symbols, the energy patterns, the interactions, they all pointed to something alive, something that could manipulate reality in ways humans had only dreamed of. Despite the trauma, Elias felt a strange sense of awe. Humanity had reached this point, had encountered something extraordinary, and had survived. Even in the face of incomprehensible power, human courage, ingenuity, and resilience had endured. The engines roared to life, lifting the ship from the planet's surface. Elias guided the Dauntless into orbit, the alien world shrinking beneath him. He could not speak, but his mind was filled with memories, emotions, and knowledge that words could not contain. He recorded everything meticulously, knowing that one day humanity would study this data and learn from it. As he set the course back to Earth, Elias allowed himself a rare moment to look out the viewport. The stars stretched endlessly before him, a reminder that the universe was vast, full of wonders and dangers alike. And despite the loss, he knew that humans would continue to explore, to learn, to face the unknown with courage. Sleep came fitfully. Visions of the structure and the lost crew haunted his dreams, but he awoke with renewed determination. He had survived the unimaginable, and he would carry the story back to Earth. Humanity needed to know both the beauty and the danger that awaited among the stars. Days passed as Elias navigated the ship through the void of space. The journey home was quiet, almost serene. Yet every sound, every movement within the ship reminded him of the absence of his friends. Their bravery, their skills, and their curiosity had led them to the edge of understanding and beyond. He reviewed the data daily, piecing together patterns, energy flows, and the structure's behavior. The more he studied, the more he realized that the structure was not hostile, but aware. It had responded to their curiosity, to their courage, and perhaps to their very humanity. Elias could not speak, but in his silence, he felt a deep connection to his lost crew. Their bravery had carried them into the unknown, and his survival was a testament to the human spirit. He would return to Earth, not just as a survivor, but as a witness to the power and potential of humanity. As Earth grew closer on the ship's sensors, hope mingled with sorrow. The planet that awaited them below was a world of ordinary human life, yet it would soon learn of the extraordinary events that had unfolded light years away. Elias knew that the journey had changed him, and that humanity would never be the same again. The final hours of the journey passed slowly. Elias prepared the ship for re-entry, following protocols with precision. He monitored systems, checked every instrument, and ensured that the data from the alien planet was secure. The return to Earth was not just a physical journey, it was a mission to preserve the courage, ingenuity, and determination of his team. As the ship descended into Earth's atmosphere, lights blinking across cities below, Elias finally felt a sense of relief. He was home, though he carried the weight of loss, mystery, and wonder. Humanity had reached a new frontier, and though only one had returned, the story of their courage would inspire generations to come. When the Dauntless finally landed, crews rushed forward to greet the survivor. Elias emerged from the hatch, silent but determined. His eyes told the story of courage, loss, and the boundless potential of humans to face the unknown. He could not speak, but his presence alone was a testament to what humanity could achieve, endure, and overcome. The journey had ended, but the adventure, the knowledge, and the spirit of exploration would continue. The alien structure, the lost crew, and the mysteries of the planet remained out there, waiting. And humans, driven by curiosity and courage, would return. Elias Harper stepped onto the familiar soil of Earth for the first time in over 2 months. The air smelled ordinary, almost comforting after the alien world he had left behind. Yet every breath carried the memory of the planet, the structure, and the friends he could no longer see. His body was exhausted, and his throat still could not form a word, but his eyes burned with a mixture of sorrow, determination, and quiet triumph. A team of scientists, medical personnel, and officials surrounded him, offering assistance and attempting to communicate. Elias gestured toward the ship's data consoles, signaling the importance of the information stored within. He could not speak, but his gestures were precise, conveying urgency. Sofia Alvarez, who had remained with him during the return journey, interpreted as best she could, explaining to the officials that the ship contained extraordinary data about an alien structure and intelligent life far beyond human understanding. Inside a secured lab, Elias finally had time to review the entirety of the collected information. Lila, Raj, Jacob, and Sophia, the team that had vanished, were present in the form of recordings, data points, and samples. Every measurement, every image, every energy reading told the story of their exploration and the strange, intelligent structure they had discovered. The scientists were astounded. This is revolutionary," one exclaimed. "The energy patterns alone defy current understanding, and these symbols, they suggest an intelligence far beyond ours. Elias, how did you survive?" Elias shook his head slightly, the inability to speak reminding him of the trauma. But his eyes, steady and unwavering, communicated the same message over and over. Humanity is capable. Humans can face the unknown, adapt, and endure. Over the next several days, Elias worked closely with Earth's leading scientists, guiding them through the alien data. He used gestures, sketches, and Sophia's translation skills to explain patterns, sequences, and anomalies. Each day, the world learned a little more about the planet, the intelligent structure, and the experiences the crew had endured. Despite the excitement, a shadow of loss hung over every discussion. Lila, Raj, Jacob, and the others had not returned. Their courage, creativity, and curiosity had driven the mission to its success, but at a cost. The knowledge they had gathered, however, ensured that their sacrifice would not be forgotten. Elias felt the weight of responsibility. He carried not only the data, but the story of humanity's bravery in the face of incomprehensible power. His silence became a symbol. In meetings with officials and scientists, he did not speak, yet everyone understood the message. Humans explore, humans endure, and humans survive. Words were unnecessary when courage and determination shone through action. The media, initially desperate for answers, were shown controlled data and images. News of the mission spread rapidly. Humanity marveled at the courage it took to step into the unknown. The world celebrated the dauntless crew, honoring the explorers who had ventured into a place beyond imagination. Though only one returned, the story became a beacon of hope and inspiration. Scientists began to analyze the energy signatures and symbols in greater detail. Lila's collected samples revealed properties that could revolutionize energy storage and material science. Raj's instrumentation notes offered insights into stabilizing new forms of energy. Jacob's observations about the crew's reactions to the structure hinted at previously unknown aspects of human cognition and resilience. Elias participated in all of these studies. Though he could not speak, he demonstrated procedures, pointed out crucial details, and guided experiments with precision. His silence forced the team to listen more carefully, to observe more closely, and to respect the depth of what had been discovered. The human mind, he showed, could process, adapt, and communicate even under extreme constraints. Days turned into weeks. While research progressed, global conversations shifted. Philosophers, scientists, and ordinary people debated what the discovery meant for humanity. Was the universe full of life? How should humans approach other intelligences? Could humans survive in the face of powers far beyond their own? Elias often sat quietly, watching others discuss, plan, and hypothesize. He did not need to speak. He had lived the answers. Courage, ingenuity, and adaptability were uniquely human traits, traits that had allowed him to survive where others could not. The alien structure, he understood, had recognized these qualities, perhaps responding to the essence of humanity rather than any specific action. One evening, Elias stood on a balcony overlooking the city. Lights twinkled across the landscape like a mirror of the stars he had traveled among. He remembered the glowing plants of the alien planet, the pulse of the structure, and the indescribable sensations that had swept through him in the chamber. A strange smile crossed his face, a mixture of sadness and hope. Humanity had touched something extraordinary, something alive and intelligent, and had returned to tell the tale. The next phase of the mission was planned. Further exploration, new ships, and teams prepared to continue humanity's reach into the unknown. The government and scientific bodies recognized that the first mission had proven not only the feasibility of deep space exploration, but the exceptional capabilities of humans themselves. Plans were drafted to construct new vessels equipped with lessons learned from the Dauntless to venture further into the cosmos. Elias was at the center of these plans, not as a speaker or advisor, but as a symbol. His survival demonstrated that human courage, even in the most extreme circumstances, could endure. He trained new crews indirectly, guiding them through simulations, pointing out potential hazards, and showing through gestures the importance of teamwork, observation, and mental resilience. Every movement he made carried lessons learned from the alien world. Despite the progress, memories of his lost team remained vivid. Every data point, every symbol, and every energy reading reminded him of Lila's curiosity, Raj's precision, Jacob's steadiness, and Sophia's insight. Their bravery had been extraordinary, and humanity would honor them not just through study, but through continued exploration. They had given the world knowledge and inspiration that would shape generations. Months passed, and humanity prepared for its next steps. New ships were designed, faster and more resilient than the Dauntless. Crews were trained to a higher standard, integrating lessons from the first mission. Simulations included energy patterns, alien intelligence responses, and unpredictable environmental conditions. Humanity was learning, adapting, and improving, proving once more that its ingenuity was unmatched. Elias, though unable to speak, became the guiding presence for these new explorers. His silent strength taught them more than words ever could. The courage to step into the unknown, the ability to remain calm under stress, and the creativity to solve problems without hesitation were qualities that all humans could cultivate. One day, the first team of the new mission gathered before launch. Elias stood among them, gesturing toward the ship, pointing at the equipment, and finally pointing at the stars. The message was clear. You are humans, capable of courage, ingenuity, and endurance. The universe is vast, mysterious, and full of challenges, but you can face it. As the ship lifted off, Elias watched from the observation deck. The engines roared, flames reflecting off the walls, and the vessel ascended toward the heavens. Humanity's spirit, represented by this brave crew, carried the lessons of the first mission into the unknown. The journey of exploration, the pursuit of knowledge, and the essence of human courage continued. Elias returned to his routines, reviewing data, monitoring communications, and assisting in research. Though he could not speak, his presence conveyed authority, knowledge, and inspiration. Scientists worked tirelessly, fueled by the discoveries he had brought back. They developed new technologies, better materials, and insights into energy systems previously thought impossible. The alien structure's knowledge, filtered through human ingenuity, became a catalyst for progress. Everywhere, humanity was reminded of the first mission's lessons. Courage was not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. Ingenuity was not the possession of knowledge alone, but the capacity to adapt, to solve problems, and to persevere. And resilience was not simply physical endurance, but the strength to continue in the face of loss, uncertainty, and the unimaginable. In quiet moments, Elias reflected on his crew. Their disappearance was a loss that weighed heavily on him, yet he found solace in the knowledge that they had contributed to humanity's growth. They had taken the first steps into the unknown, and humanity would continue because of them. The structure on the alien planet remained a mystery, but humanity's understanding of the universe had expanded. Scientists speculated, philosophers debated, and ordinary people dreamed of stars. Yet beneath all this, one truth remained. Humans could face the unknown, endure trials, and survive against incredible odds. Elias, silent yet powerful in his presence, embodied this truth. His survival and the mission's success became a story told across generations, a tale of human courage, curiosity, and resilience. Schools taught it, scientists referenced it, and explorers remembered it. Every human who looked at the stars knew that they too could reach further, learn more, and achieve what once seemed impossible. Time passed, and humanity continued to explore. New worlds were discovered, new species observed, and new challenges faced. Every mission carried the legacy of the Dauntless and its brave crew. Elias remained at the center of this effort, a constant reminder of the power of human determination. Though he could not speak, his eyes conveyed everything words could not. The awe of discovery, the sorrow of loss, and the unyielding strength of human spirit. Humanity had taken a step into the unknown and survived. It had proven that no matter the danger, no matter the loss, humans would continue to reach for the stars. And somewhere, beyond the edges of known space, the alien structure waited, pulsing gently, aware, perhaps even respectful of the humans who had dared to enter. Its mysteries remained, but one thing was clear. Humans were not only explorers, they were courageous, inventive, and unstoppable. The story of the first mission, the lost crew, and the silent survivor became legend. Humanity's journey into the stars had only begun, but the message was clear. The universe was vast and strange, yet humans would face it with courage, creativity, and resilience. Elias Harper, silent yet unbroken, watched as humanity prepared for the next great adventure. The stars beckoned, the unknown awaited, and the human spirit soared higher than ever before.